A little tripping hazard over here.
No.
So if we run into difficult questions, we just trip. That's our plan. Yes. Well, it's easier on the eye screen. We found with the like that. Do we need the microphone?
No, we don't.
No? Okay.
If everybody crosses, speak loudly enough to get people on the phone. Okay, if we're ready, we'll begin. I'm Paul Block. I'm the Assistant Commissioner for the Bureau of Wayside Cleanup, so nominally in charge of this, but not really. So it's my pleasure to introduce the people who are actually doing work and guiding this and providing us all with direction. Karen Helza, head of our NRD program, and Liz Callahan, who's our division director for policy program development and wayside cleanup. And for me, this, and for many of you, this has been a long time in the works. We've given a lot of thought to where we want to go in coming up with a standardized approach for doing NRD assessments. We want to continue putting thought into it, and we're looking for kind of assistance and help and advice in kind of how to move ahead in the best way possible. So what you're seeing is our initial thoughts are sometimes kind of mulled over for a long period of time. But this is where we are, but this is not the final version of what we hope to go ahead with. It's what we hope will initiate a lot of discussion with all of you and to improve the product. So with that, Karen?
I'm going to ask the folks on the phone to introduce themselves first and move from west to east across the Commonwealth. I will also ask if folks could put their phone on mute until you have a question, because we can hear rustling papers, and you may not want us to hear your dog, or things that happen on conference calls. So if there's anyone from the Berkshires, if you could introduce yourself. Just to let everyone know, Jim McGrath of the city of Pittsfield is on our group. I believe he was not available at this particular time, but just to let you know. Anyone in the Connecticut River Valley? You might want to unmute your phone. I think Andrea, are you there? Okay, Andrea Donlan from Connecticut River Conservancy is expected to be participating by phone, and is someone from the Rural Community Assistance Program on the line?
Hi, good afternoon. Joe Solomon, the Massachusetts State League. Happy to be here.
Great, thank you so much. And I believe there's
So Karen, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Andrea Donlan. I didn't realize I was unmuted on my phone, but then on the computer somehow I was muted, so.
Okay.
But I am here.
Excellent, great. Thanks so much for joining us. I think there's someone from the city of Worcester.
Hello, this is Mia McDonald.
Great, and for those who haven't yet met Mia, she is the new planner, environmental planner, or just planner for the city of Worcester. And
Conservation agent.
oh, conservation agent. I thought it was planner. I apologize. I don't know how I intermingled those jobs. So if we continue to move east, let's talk about perhaps northeast Massachusetts, who might be on the phone.
Steve Johnson from the Northeast region here.
Great. Anyone else from that part of the state?
Matt Mostoller with the Acton Water District.
Great. Anyone else?
Jen Peterson of the Mass Waterworks Association.
Great. Okay. Anyone from the southeast region or Cape Cod?
Dave Channing, Office of Coastal Zone Management.
Great. And Tom Camberary of the Cape Cod Commission is also part of this group. I don't believe he's available today. Is there anyone who hasn't introduced themselves that we may have missed in our roll call?
This is Heidi Ritchie from Mass Audubon, out of our headquarters in Lincoln, but of course working statewide.
Great.
Hi, this is Janine Graychuck at Beverage and Diamond. I'm representing the Licensed Site Professional Association today.
Great. Anyone else? Okay, great. And to assist me in making sure I adequately capture your participation, if you could, oops, I'm getting an echo. If you could send me a quick email at karen.pelto@state.
If folks are on the phone, it would be helpful if you could go on mute because we're getting a little feedback here.
Okay, so karen.pelto@state.maus. Just tell me you were on the phone. That way we can adequately capture the fact that you were in the meeting even though you weren't physically in the meeting. That'd be great. So at this point, we'll go around the room. We'll go around the table first and then the rest of the room for everyone to say their name and their affiliation.
So, hi, I'm Scott Friedman. I'm with Industrial Economics. I have a background in ecology and I've been doing natural resource damage assessment for the past decade or so.
Bill Finger, I'm with Commonwealth Farms, and I'm also representing NXEMA, the New England Convenience Store Association.
Steve Sharon, I'm with Global Companies out of Waltham, and I'm also representing NXEMA.
Steve Dodge,
Karen?
Yes?
Karen, can folks in the room speak up, or can you turn the volume up on the speakerphone? It's hard to hear the phone.
Yeah, I think people might just have to speak up because I think if we turn up the volume, all it does is make you louder.
Steve Dodge, Mass Petroleum Council.
Patrick Heron, Mystic River Watershed Association.
Ron Ruth, the lawyer with Sharon and Lodge in Boston.
Seth Jaffe, Foley High in Boston.
Alicia Hunt, the Director of Energy and Environment for the City of Medford, Massachusetts.
Liz Callahan, Director of Policy and Program Development for Wayside Cleanup.
And folks around the room could speak loudly and introduce themselves.
I'm Nikhil Selarka, intern with NRD program.
I'm Chris Ayers, an attorney with MassDEP.
Jason Freegon, Global Companies and NXEMA.
Pat Corcoran, LSP with Environtrack.
Paul Sutton, Golder.
Matt LaLasha, New England Service Station and Auto Repair Association.
Julie Hutchison, MassDEP, Marine Oil Spill Prevention Response Program.
Paul Locke, Assistant Commissioner, and now videographer. And for the people on the phone, we are recording this meeting for posterity and for those who can't make it.
Yes, we are recording this meeting, so if you do miss something, we will be able to post that online. And for the folks who are on our group, you'll see on the back side of your agenda all the folks who are participating in this effort. And if, for those who weren't able to be here, they'll be able to view the meeting as well as the presentations that are being made.
Andy Cohen, I'm with MassDEP based in Boston. I'm an attorney.
Great.
And Brian.
So we'll get underway. I'm just going to turn the lights in the front off because it helps with the glare on the screen, in quotes. I do want to acknowledge, as Paul did, that this is a team effort. And so not only my presentations involve input from our team, including Nikhil, my intern, but we obviously work very closely with Scott, who is our consultant in this effort. So hopefully as we move forward, if you have a clarifying question, if there's something on the screen, please feel free to speak up. So especially also folks on the phone, if you see something, unmute your phone, say you have a question, and we'll be able to clarify it. But then I think at the end of each presentation, we'll have some time for brief discussion, but then we'll have an overall discussion at the end when we do the wrap-up.
Yeah, before you get going, I just wanted to say a couple
Oh, that's
of
right. Number 2 on the agenda is Liz. I'm too anxious to start.
Very briefly, we want to thank you all for coming. You probably understand that this meeting is about getting your expertise and perspectives on this regulation development process. We started on this several years ago, and then we halted in part because of the 562 reg review that was going on. And we're excited.
Oh, somebody needs to mute because we're hearing Liz's echo.
We're excited to get going on this again. What we're working toward is having a public hearing draft in July timeframe. We're going to have this meeting today focused on the oil spill aspect of the regulations, and a second meeting in
April 23rd.
With respect to groundwater. And as part of this process, we certainly want to hear all your feedback today, but even going forward, prior to the time where we put the public hearing draft together, please feel free to reach out to us and share any thoughts you have. Obviously, you're going to be hearing some material that's going to be new to you today. It's going to take some time to process it, so please stay in touch with Karen as we go forward with this.
Thanks, sorry about that. I'm too eager. All right, so I thought because natural resource damages is not something that most people interact with on a regular basis, that we'd start with an introduction just so we're all on the same page with respect to the Massachusetts program that currently exists. What did you find worked last time? Scott, what was that? Okay, excellent. So when we talk about natural resources under this program, it's very comprehensive. It's pretty much everything. The air we breathe, the water we drink, the water that fills our streams and wetlands, and the ocean, the biota that lives in those various media and habitats, but also the services that those resources provide, either to the environment or to humans. So in terms of humans, fishing, hunting, shellfishing, water supply, but also, and recreation, but habitat for wildlife as well. And in some states, very front and center are spiritual or cultural use of natural resources. And just an example, this is on the Amethyst Brook, which is a tributary to Fort Brook, tributary to the Connecticut River. This is a lamprey, and it's obviously in a stream, surface water. It's creating a nest in sediment, so that's nesting habitat for this species. The lamprey itself is a resource. The groundwater that feeds this system is a resource, and so it is all encompassing in terms of the state's jurisdiction over natural resources. But it is a distinct or related but different activity in terms of when an oil spill or a release of hazardous materials enters the environment. Most people are more familiar with the left side of this slide, where under the cleanup program, you're looking for the nature and extent of the contamination, and you're looking to eliminate or reduce risks to human health and the environment. On the damages assessment side, we take the data that is generated on the left side, but we need to look and see the type and extent of injuries to natural resources. So, for example, taking an oil spill into account, you would have an oiled shoreline, and you would be looking to see how you would be cleaning it up, but you would also look and see, okay, has that prevented people from using a beach, for example, or was there intertidal habitat that was oiled, and what species would be utilizing that, and at what time of year, and what part of their life cycle. And then, as trustees, what we need to do is say, okay, if there's a particular type of harm, what kind of restoration or compensatory restoration do we need to undertake to balance that harm out? So I'll give you an example similar to what I just started to describe. On the left, this is from the Bouchard oil spill. You see oiled shoreline habitat. The example I've given you on the right was the aspect of that related to recreational use and the effects that had on people's use of the coastline. And this is a project to provide what are called Moby mats and also special wheelchairs for those of varying abilities. It's called the Universal Access Program to be able to use the beach. And actually, this had just been unfurled, and the person in the wheelchair was right there and said, "It's about time." And the folks who are walking down with him are actually from Department of Conservation and Recreation, who undertook this project at several beaches in Buzzards Bay. So where do we get our authority to pursue these types of endeavors? Both under state and federal law. So in Massachusetts, the statute that creates the Mass Contingency Plan also includes authority for the department or for the trustee to pursue natural resource damages. There's an additional section under the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs statutory authority that gives the secretary the authority to compromise or settle claims, essentially giving them administrative settlement authority in addition to the overall NRD authority. And of course, we